year. You get to watch young men, their lives change forever. This is perhaps my favorite day of the year because, again, I grew up a Raiders fan, so I don't get to see them play in January or February ever. So I look forward to this at the draft. And now being up here in Wisconsin, man, I have been blown away with how well they've done all this.
Well, and you and I are cynical sports fans, so I like the way that you put it before we got up here. The only team you could be mad at when you leave here is your own if they make a wrong pick. You're not leaving mad at your rival. You're not leaving mad at another team that beat you in the fourth quarter, made a certain call in overtime or anything like that. Everyone is typically coming in with a smile and leaving with a smile. And how about the way this town has handled everything? Like, the Green Bay atmosphere is truly like no other. You've traveled with the draft ever since it left its initial station, right, and has been on the road. And there are not a whole lot of sports scenes out there where we're in a neighborhood right now, and we can see Lambeau. We could throw a football to probably, I don't know how good your arm is, but it would roll up until it pretty much kicks off the front entrance right below the G there.
This is the fact that you are literally just parking in people's yards. Yeah. This is a neighborhood. I think that this is the first time a lot of fans here that traveled in for the draft get to see what Green Bay is. It's a town. It's a town that you get off the highway, and what do you see? You see the pinnacle of the sport. You see the best environment. You see it's Lambeau Field. I mean, you talk about iconic venues in the world for sports. Lambeau is very high on that list. The opportunity to be able to go in, sit there and watch the draft, be surrounded by other fans. This is such a great celebration of the league. And, dude, I'll be honest with you, Corey. Going into this, I was petrified of the travel situation, how people were going to get in and out of the city. This has been unbelievable. You can get in quickly. You can get out quickly. It's, again, everybody's welcoming here. It's been such a great, I guess, ambassador the fans have been for this great state, for this great town, and for the Packers as a whole.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to put it, right? That it's a town of about 107-ish thousand people.
Not big.
And at least unofficial numbers rolled in. It's 205,000 people showed up here on round one or for day one. I believe the draft was closed for about an hour because it literally reached maximum capacity, and then everything was pretty organized. They were able to open it back up, let some more people file in, and then you had, as you called it, the mass exodus after pick number 23, where Matthew Golden had his name called by Mark Murphy during his swan song, and everyone just swamped out. And at that point, you and I carpooled on the way out. We thought we're going to be stuck here for maybe an hour, 2 hours. We'll be home in Beaver Dam, where we're from, by like 2 a.m. We were in Green Bay for maybe 10 minutes.
It's been perfect. I really can't say enough. You mentioned I've been traveling around with the draft the last 9 years. And coming here, I was worried about the travel. I was worried about a lot of things with it. This is going to sound like I'm carrying water for Green Bay. This has probably been my favorite draft. It's neck and neck with Nashville. These two have been unbelievable. People are going to see like the numbers and be like, oh, well, it wasn't as many people as last year. This is night and day better than the draft last year in Detroit. And Detroit was fine.
Yeah.
They did a fine job with it. This has been perfect, an encapsulation of what Packer land is, what Green Bay is, and I've been blown away, Corey.
We would love to hear how your experience either at the draft or watching the draft or consuming the draft in Titletown for the first time in decades and decades and decades has gone for you. You can chime in on the Cardinals Talk and text line 1-800-990-3776, 1-800-990-3776. Liz is more. And I feel like we're kind of bearing the lead here. So our experience on day one was we were in the Tundra Trio for a couple of hours, kind of floated in and out, doing some man-on-the-street stuff with some of our awesome partners, including Racine Danish Kringle. We got to give some people from different countries, different states, different regions a try at something that they weren't even familiar with until they showed up here at the draft and probably didn't expect to try at all because they didn't know it existed. And then around 5 o'clock, we trickle into the draft area, and I started asking you and your buddy Tyler, who were here for the weekend, what does this look like? Once everything gets going, how is the fan experience? And you said it's great if you love football, but you're going to be crammed. You're going to be shoulder to shoulder with people. And not even planning for this, we kind of trickled into Lambeau Field, started walking around, grabbed some food, sat down. And then they started playing the live feed about an hour out from the draft at 6 o'clock Central Time over the speakers. And then they threw it on the screen. And all of a sudden you're looking at me going, I've traveled to every single one of these drafts since it hit the road. They've never done this. You'd think it's common sense. Lambeau houses a little over 81,000 people. Why would you not let overflow go in there? This is the first time they've allowed that.
The only time that it had been before is Dallas, you had to pay to play,
right.
So to speak.
This was free.
This is literally you walk in, the doors are open to Lambeau. It's Lambeau Field. And you get to just walk in, sit down in this iconic venue and get to watch the NFL draft. It's been a once-in-a-lifetime. I hope that the NFL continues to do this. But a lot of times, too, you see at these drafts, they're not actually on site. It's not right there on the football field or right next to the football field. It's hard to kind of find room for it. So here in Green Bay, the fact that they were able to make this work right in the backyard of Lambeau, and talk about burying the lead, as you called it, we're burying the lead, too. I mean, the way that this all culminated on night one, would it have been as special, as romantic, if you will, if they don't go wide receiver?
Yeah.
With Mark Murphy's final pick.
He'll be done in July. Yep.
He's going up there, and he hits us with the WWE, like The Rock. You do the arm slap, goosebumps, the delivery, the buildup. When you actually hear for the first time since 2002.
And can we speak to the intelligence of the fan base, too? You could hear everyone around us in a green and gold jersey. I'd be curious what the ratio was at past drafts. I feel like 60, 70% of those jerseys out there were green and gold, right?
This was the most I've ever seen from, like, a home fan base.
Just saturated, which, again, speaks to this fan base. It's a town of or a city, about 110,000 people. But you could just tell the intelligence of the fan base, even like average Joe fans who are maybe coming up here. It's in your backyard anyway. As soon as he said for the first time since 2002, everyone went, not only wide receiver. I started hearing golden, it's golden, it's golden. They knew exactly what was going to happen once he said that line.
Well, Murphy hit it. Again, it was very brilliant. It was theater for you because he hits you with the wide receiver line, and he pauses. He lets 5 seconds of the fans absolutely lose their mind, and then he gets you Matthew Golden, and the place erupted. I'm so happy that we were able to get some captures of that. You can see that around ESPN Wisconsin on our socials, but to actually see the fan base lose their mind. 2002, Corey, were you alive yet?
I was one.
You were 1 year old the
Yep.
last time. Matthew Golden wasn't on this earth the last time the Packers took a first-round wide receiver. To do that and follow it up, I mean, we're going to dive into all these picks today, but to follow it up by going with a second wide receiver on day 2, that's the first time in team history that the Packers took 2 wide receivers in the first 3 rounds.
That's crazy.
It's insane. So a lot of the questions, there's going to be fallout. Naturally, you're interested because this is a team that Goody came into this draft, whether you believed him at the time or not, was telling you, this is a roster that I fully believe in. This is a roster that we can go in right now and we can win a lot of football games. It's come true. Like the fact that whether you believe that's actually an accurate thought is another discussion, but he's lived to his word. He's drafted best available. Going back, going tackle, then wide receiver again. How many people out there expected the Packers to go with 3 offensive players? Offense, and not have a defensive player as we sit here at 12:09 on Saturday afternoon.
And we might get our answer on if that trend continues here in just a couple of minutes. We're currently at pick 122. So the Packers pick is, or 124, 22 in the 4th round. The Packers pick is in. And I'm very curious to see. Jack Sawyer just went. How about that?
He did, and that
Ohio
feels
State,
like a very natural
back-to-back
Pittsburgh.
Ohio State. I'm very curious to see if they quadruple up on this and how much of that is, again, the way the cards are falling or the chips are falling, what's available at this point, does it make sense, and how much of it I'm extremely confident in my defense based on the numbers they put up last year.
Well,
I mean,
Jeff Hafley, man.
Jeff Hafley has completely transformed the defensive side of the ball for this team. Joe Barry had the firing squad coming in the form of his own fans. Everyone was upset with that product because they looked at the talent of the secondary, the talent of the defensive line, the talent of the linebackers, and said, how on earth are we having to get in shootouts to have a chance to win? That was not the case last year. Last year, the offense was easily the weaker side of the ball, and you're kind of seeing that. You could go 2 sides of the coin here. Does Goody feel like what is on the board when it's the Packers' turn, which it will be next year at 124th overall, does he feel that's the best fit, or does he feel the defense as it is, even with the Jair Alexander situation still looming, that's going to be another storyline today, is completely fine? Is it trust in the defense, or is it worry about the offense? And 2 things can be true.
And it's an excellent question. I'm going to be ironically asking that exact question to Jason Wilde here shortly, hopefully after we do get this Packers selection. I think it's more of a statement that he feels very comfortable with the defense at this point. Going corner does feel like is going to happen at some point today. But outside of that, I feel like you can get a wider range. This Packers board right now feels wide open.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked at all if you get another offensive player here. I don't think it'll probably be a running back yet. There's going to be close to 20 running backs taken on day 3 today. So you might get that edge. You might get. I mean, there's so much talent still available. I think it was Ari Medov earlier was tweeting it out that day 1 and 2, those first 3 rounds, those are the easiest picks in the NFL draft. But day 3, round 4 through 7, that's where you win Super Bowls.
That's where the Max Crosbys, the Tom Bradys, the Brock Purdys, the diamonds in the rough truly do come out. And a lot of people will give Goody criticism for, we're always trading back, go up and get your guy. But if there isn't that high of a hit rate in rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7, why would you not try and saturate the entire pool and get as many of those as you can? And that's what they do.
Well, this is the interesting part because he's proven that best available is what the philosophy has been so far. But typically when you do get to day 3, that kind of, I guess, approach turns more into need. You see people go like, all right, well, we really need to fill out the safeties. We need to get depth here, as we're about to find out right now. Who are we picking? Is there a position you're thinking here?
Corner.
You're going corner?
That's the goal.
How about I'm gonna go crazy for you again. I think you're gonna actually see the 4th straight offensive player for the Packers.
So we've had Matthew Golden in round 1, Anthony Belton, an offensive tackle, in round 2, Savion Williams, another wide receiver, in round 3.
I want to walk it back. I don't think the running backs here. I'm walking it back. I'm gonna go interior defensive line. All right, here we go.
There's your edge. Okay.
You got edge. Well, there you go. Little different.
So Barron Sorrell, it's an edge rusher out of Texas, goes 124th overall, the 22nd pick in the 4th round, and the 4th player to say he's going to be able to wear that Packers jersey in 2025-2026. They do address a defensive line and a pass rushing situation in general that caught a lot of criticism. You could argue outside of the wide receiver position, which they have addressed twice in the first 3 picks, edge rusher, or just a pass rusher in general. That was one of the barking needs, one of the holes that this team needed to fill. Criticism going towards Rashawn Gary, who was picked by some to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Lucas Van Ness, who is going into a crucial year of his first contract, who's underperformed, to say the least, over the first couple of years. And so many others.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't be more right there. Another key with these, I love seeing the different kind of, you sometimes will get the very small school guys where a regime really wants to go out there, find that diamond in the rough. And then a lot of times where you'll have teams like the Steelers, you'll have teams like the Packers, these established brands, they like to go for the guy that's getting you big production at a bigger named school. You look back, again, this is a guy that maybe didn't live up to those sack numbers that you would hope for, but the raw intangibles are there. 6'4", 260 pounds. He's had 5.5, 4, and 6 sacks in each of the last 3 seasons. So you haven't seen the gaudy sack numbers yet, but this is that point of the draft where you take a little bit of a gamble on a guy that might have the measurables that you believe you can coach up. And this is now, doesn't it feel like this was a vote of confidence this weekend to that front 4, to Jeff Halfley to say, we're giving you one more shot, Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah.
We buy into the idea that we can still make you a dude. Rashawn Gary, we saw you come on in the second half of the year. He won a Pro Bowl nomination. I put the air quotes up for that because a lot of people probably didn't feel that was entirely.
The fan base here was making fun of it a little bit. They were poking fun at the selection.
Yep. So it's like you're kind of giving a vote of confidence, saying we saw that the defense last year went top 10 in measurables across the board. Now you have an opportunity, bring in some guys like this, take a gamble, and hopefully in a limited role, whether it be 20, 25 snaps a game, you might be able to see that heightened that growth, so to speak. The
4th green and gold pick of this year's NFL Draft, which is in Titletown, just outside of Lambeau Field. Green and gold picks are brought to you by our friends over at Racine Danish Kringle, which you and I were out on the street before we go to break here for the first time. And we were giving different fans samples of Kringles, and they absolutely loved it, whether it was the almond or the raspberry or the cheesecake or I'm missing one. I think it was apple cinnamon.
Apple cinnamon, and we got a cinnamon one over there today, and I got to ask.
Unbelievable. And we got to sample today.
Thank God for that. Did you have a favorite? Because I already know mine. It's not even close.
I'm a cheesecake guy, but the cinnamon was very good. That was like the talk of the town as soon as we entered the gates of the Tundra Trio this morning.
The cinnamon was the winner, by the way. That was a no-doubter. I mean, you're talking about how flaky it was, and that cinnamon, man, my tongue, I'm getting like salivating right now. I got to be careful, but maybe during this break I'm going to have to throw down another good, healthy little bite-sized one here.
Again, this green and gold draft pick is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles. It's not just a treat, it is a tradition. Make every game day legendary with Kringle at kringle.com. That is pretty simple. We will step aside and take a break. When we come back, let's talk about the man of the weekend, Matthew Golden, a fitting last name for a draft pick for the Green and Gold here in Titletown for the first time in decades. This is ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented to you by American Family Insurance.
We're back after this on ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance. All day, every day, the Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Save big money on your next project at Menards. Gorilla Glue offers the adhesive strength you need. From sealants to tapes, get what you need for your project. Gorilla Silicone Sealant's flexible formula won't shrink or crack over time. On sale now through April 27. Check out all our Gorilla products in store and check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 2-liter bottle selected varieties Super Chill Soda, 2 for $3. 4-count double roll selected varieties Bounty Towels, $7.99. 6-pack 0.5-liter bottle selected varieties Splash Blast Water, 2 for $6. 40 to 48-ounce selected varieties Starbucks Iced Coffee, $5.49.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers.
Safe. Okay. Ooh, pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
At Citizens Bank, community banking is you, growing your business with a partner who gets it. It's you, buying your first home with a lender who makes it easy. It's you, building a future with savings that work just as hard as you. And it's us, working together to strengthen our community. Because at Citizens Bank, community banking means you plus us. Visit us at citizensbankwi.bank. Citizens Bank is member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
For your next night out, revel in the fusion of artistry and flavor with sushi at St. Kate, offering guests an elevated experience where freshness and creativity converge in every bite. St. Kate the Arts Hotel introduces an exciting new sushi menu to its culinary repertoire. Indulge in the finest seafood, freshest ingredients, and expert craftsmanship for an inspired and delectable dining journey. Experience the art of sushi at St. Kate and learn more at stkatearts.com.
It's party time at Cousins Subs. For a limited time only, Cousins 2-foot party subs are back. Choose from the ham and provolone, Italian special, or turkey. Each party sub is just $39.99. Feeds 5 to 8 people and requires 24-hour notice to order. And now you can complete your party by adding a party chip bag and a dozen chocolate chip cookies for just $4.99. Order today in store, online, or on the app. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Don't miss a second of ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance. Download the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app today and stay on top of it all.
Welcome back.
Baron Sorrell, you are a Green Bay Packer. Edge rusher for Texas. Green Bay finally goes defense after tripling up on the offensive side of the ball. Matthew Golden in round number 1. Anthony Belton, an offensive tackle, in round 2. Savion Williams in round 3. And round 4, Barron Sorrell, an edge rusher out of Texas, who, thank you so much to our video producer here in Hunter Vaughn, just told us he was second among defensive ends at the Combine with 28 bench reps. So bringing in a little bit of beef.
You got to bring the beef. You bring the physicality. You saw that as well with the Belton pick. They're going for those maulers. That they want to be a physical team. You already have one of the most physical running backs in the entire league. And now you're bringing in the speedster on the outside. I think a lot of people are going to be very excited to see what this offense looks like next year. I know maybe you're going to have a little discontent with some of the wide receivers in the building right now, but this is where you got to earn that role. This has been, to me, an offensive enlightening draft because this is a team that you look back in that game against Philadelphia in that wild card round. It's an offense that couldn't do anything.
No.
People couldn't get open, and that defensive front, it was so strong for Philadelphia, you weren't able to run the ball as well as you would like to as well. They took picks here in the first 3 days now, that, or at least first four rounds. Of course, it's 3 days, Corey. Yeah. There's 3 days to draft. Stay hot, Wally. Stay strong. But this is a team that's trying to be physical. They're trying to make that an identity, and I think they're making it very clear right now.
This is the Damn Sports Show as a part of ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented to you by our friends over at American Family Insurance. And on the Carbless Talk and Text line, 1-800-990-3776. What do you think of the Barron Sorrell pick over in round 4? We have Alex Gravatt saying Sorrell just walked through the crowd at Lambeau once he had his name called. A true man of the people.
We've had a couple men of the people. You also started the entire draft, where at least for the Packers draft that way, with Golden going up. How often do you see first-round picks actually go on Roger Goodell's mic and address the crowd? I was sitting there. I was ready to run through a wall.
I wonder
for
if
the
he
guy.
planned that. Like, if I get my name called by the hosting team, I'm going to put on a show that came across as his radiant personality, which is going to be so fun to have in that locker room.
He seems like a very confident young man, and talk about ingratiating yourself into this community right away. It's very clear he wants to be a Packer. And actually, shout out to Alex Gravatt and then Pablo Iglesias earlier today. I hadn't thought about it, but G brought up a great point. Why here in Green Bay was it the normal traditional draft hat? How do we not throw him the cheese head?
That would have been something.
That felt like it was just perfectly set up for you.
And I think everything else was done fine, right? Before the draft even started, Lil Wayne goes on the stage. They ride the bikes out there that you see for training camp going into the preseason. There were a lot of nods to the Green Bay culture that I think we understand a little bit more living in this state. You get them everywhere at every draft, but I think a lot of those registered. I never even thought of the opportunity to throw a literal cheese. It's as obvious as it is to throw a cheese head on his head as soon as he got the pick.
It didn't even cross my mind either, but as soon as I was sitting here watching
the shower thought, should have done that.
The shower thought, yeah, as soon as it's over, like, wow, it would have been pretty cool if we threw a cheese head on the guy. But all of a sudden, instead, well, we got the regular draft. Hey, talk about a minor inconvenience to otherwise a perfect day, and that culmination, again, of coming with that pick. Wrapping that up, where you get that goosebump reaction from the crowd. Mark Murphy feeling like he's doing a promo in the WWE. I was ready to, felt like we were at WrestleMania with the way the crowd had got all excited. I feel like Packer fans could not have been happier after that first pick.
You could tell he was so excited to be here, too. There's certain guys, they have like a relative covering them, make it look like they're crying. They're not actually very happy to be a part of a football team. He is so genuinely excited to be a Packer for the next 4, hopefully, plus years, right? And before we talk about his makeup and what he can bring, got a little scouting report on Matthew Golden as well. Here is the former Longhorn on the mentality he plans to bring to the Packers offense.
Being reliable, man, in critical situations, I always showed up. When our back was against the wall, they could count on me to come out with a big play, and that's something I kept doing continuously. And, coming here, that's definitely the same mindset I'm bringing, to make big plays and come out here and win games, Like I said, man, I'm bringing that chip on my shoulder like I got something to prove. I'm putting my best foot forward.
And he was the third wide receiver to go. It was McMillan, it was Ibuka, and then it was Golden. Those guys were kind of thrown in a triage where you could have taken one almost anywhere, but it did seem like he'd maybe be the third one to fall off. The fact he's still, as a first-round pick, there's other guys right now, Mr. Sanders, who will definitely have a chip on their shoulder. He, as a first-round pick, is still going to find a way to have a chip on his shoulder going in. I just think he has the right mentality, and anytime someone is asked about what they think they're going to bring to the table and they mention the word win, that is all that matters, the team goal of winning. If that can be snuck into one of those first quotes for media availability. That's the first thing he's essentially saying, being a part of this team. I like that a lot.
One of the biggest cliches that you hear about every single NFL draft is, does this guy love football? And there's one thing you don't ever have to worry about as a Green Bay Packers fan. This guy loves this sport. I look back at that Cotton Bowl game where he got hurt in the semifinal in the game against Ohio State. He injures his ankle in the first half, and it's an injury that would have kept him out in almost any situation. It's nasty. You could tell he was hobbled on that thing. He still goes back out there in the fourth quarter where he's on the sideline, basically barely able to walk, and he's out there. He makes a 27-yard one-handed catch that ended up pushing them down to the 1-yard line. Weren't able to score on that drive, but that could have been the difference between Texas winning a national championship and not, because he was willing to put his body on the line for his team. This guy's a competitor, and you're going to go in there, and he's going to understand the expectation is going to be that he is a number one wide receiver, because this team, this city, doesn't draft wide receivers in the first round. Aaron Rodgers was here how long?
Yeah, 15 years.
And never got one. 2002. That was the last time that this team drafted a first-round wide receiver. There's going to be high expectations, but if somebody in this class is going to be ready for those, it's going to be him.
Well, and it makes you wonder, assuming this first-round receiver for the Packers since 2002 does turn out to be their wide receiver one. That's a lot of ones there. Everyone's going to get pushed down one spot, and someone's going to be left out. And I think the popular name everyone's throwing around right now, not only because he also had a similar scouting report, he's going to take the top off of defense, which he does when he's healthy, but he also happens to be injured and will likely miss a decent chunk of the 2025-26 season, is Christian Watson. That seems to be the name everyone feels like is going to be left out of the party when this season's done. Had the brutal knee injury, will not start this upcoming year, and Matthew Golden kind of has a similar prospect profile to him. Not exactly the same. Christian Watson was considered a unicorn. 6'4", 6'5", whatever he was. Matthew Golden's supposed to be running a 4.3. If there is a type of person who's going to run with that blister.
Nobody's supposed to run a 4.3.
But if you're 6 foot and about his stature, you expect it more than someone like Christian Watson. Unfortunately for Watson, he had that injury history coming in, and it followed him into his first couple of years of the NFL. Is there room for both of them, or do you buy into the narrative that, well, we have two guys who have a similar prospect makeup, and then you throw in the factor that Christian Watson's also hurt, one's going to have to go?
See, I think that you and I are kind of in a similar spot where we had been talking right before we went live today. There's not a rule in the NFL that if you have more than one wide receiver, you have to get rid of one.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that you pick another wide receiver in day two. You took a third-round wide receiver who has a very similar, at least Swiss Army knife feel as you got with Jaden Reed, where he's going to be playing all over the field. So Christian Watson now is going to be a part of a very busy wide receiver room. You're not going to be carrying 7, 8 wide receivers into the first game of the year.
Someone's going to have to go. It could be people are floating around Dobbs. I know there was that drama with the first handful of weeks of the season. Quite literally did not show up to work, and a wellness check was brought up as a possibility to make sure he was literally just okay. A lot of drama flying around.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong.
Mostly
Watson,
outside noise, but
it is. But he'll be on the PUP list when it starts, the physically unable to perform list. What happens, though, later in the year when everybody is getting healthy, there will be people that go on it. It won't be this year. It's, does Christian Watson do enough in what could be Thanksgiving and on next year to earn another contract or to get another look? Because somebody is going to be left out in the cold. And coming off the injuries with the durability concerns, if Matthew Golden hits the ground running like so many people here in Titletown expect and hope for, then Watson might be the guy left out in the cold looking for a new place to play in a couple years.
I want to quickly pivot back. So Barron Sorrell was selected in the 4th round, 124th overall, the 4th Packer to have his name called. Packers beat reporter Ryan Wood just said on X, can't remember seeing the commissioner announce a day 3 pick in person. That's usually when the pomp and circumstance, even in the middle stages of day 2 for rounds 2 and 3, starts to wind down. It's probably happened before, but very rare. Another cool moment for the Packers in the draft they're hosting. And he quote tweeted a picture of Barron right in the crowd, holding up a selfie stick, leading the crowd with a rowdy "Go Pack Go" and just taking the moment in. So you can tell even the hype is leading into the middle stages of Saturday here. It is this team's draft, and they're capitalizing on it.
Oh, you can tell. This has been a unique time here in Titletown. I know we keep talking about it at the top of the draft, but a lot of these drafts are kind of more of just a collection of NFL fans, where it is truly just a mix. Packer fans showed out this week.
Oh, my goodness. You can see them right now. I mean, for every cluster of 50 to 60 fans that runs by, what would you say? Like 40 of them have Packers jerseys on or Packers shirts or memorabilia of some sort?
There's got to be 75 people walking over here to our right now.
I don't see a single fan.
The only one I have is 100 yards
that
up.
Isn't. Okay, yep. That is not wearing something Packers related.
This has been a Packers takeover. They talk about defending home turf, even in the offseason. Been blown away. I feel like I've said that 15 times. It's because I don't know the words for this. This has never been like this at another draft. It is a collection. It feels like everybody's here. And there are plenty of fans showing out really well today, but Packer fans traveling all over the state and Packers fans from all over the country because this is a global brand that is Green Bay. They have maximized it. I can't say enough. The fact that the board fell the way it did.
Oh, my goodness.
For Matthew Golden to be there, it was perfect. It's going to be the moment that we're going to look back in 10 years. How many of you can look back at past drafts? The events are typically going to be remembered for something else. This will be Shedeur Sanders' draft. Don't get me wrong. People will remember that. But when you look back at like a moment, he's going to be that Matthew Golden pick. This is going to be something that we are going to be revisiting when we're telling our kids about this in 20 years.
Yeah, strictly just the nature of it. We were just talking about different jerseys we're seeing fly by us here. We are live in one of the Tundra Tria sections of their backyard, just in the shadow of Lambeau Field. Speaking of jerseys, Wally and I on Thursday, day one of the NFL draft, before Golden lifted up thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of fans in rejoicing that the Packers did something they haven't done since the 2002 NFL draft, and that is take a wide receiver in the first round. Speaking of those jerseys, we played a little jersey graveyard, put together a compilation video across the ESPN Wisconsin social media pages on Thursday, and we want to relive some of those best jerseys that would go in that graveyard. It's simply unforgettable names, but you kind of look back and go, oh, they were on that team, or they did play for a little bit. They had a cup of coffee in the NFL. But then you think back, it's kind of like the NFL Immaculate Grid. Like, that's a very obscure name. You are clearly a football fan.
The one that gets me right off the bat, we start this goofy video. You guys can see it across ESPN Wisconsin on our socials out there. What is the person that walks right behind us as we're introducing the jersey graveyard idea? But Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, it's so
You
funny.
saw a Jamarcus Russell jersey? I mean, I grew up as a Raiders fan, so that was something that when I saw it, I'm like, man.
That feels like the name.
It's where it starts. And another one that popped up to me is Tim Couch. It was like, those are two of the guys. When you think about guys that just had massive expectations that haven't lived up to it, those are the guys. You start the list there. And one thing I will say is that there aren't a ton of Packer graveyard names because they typically don't have a lot of guys that they're taking high in their picks that have fallen short. And when they do, these people are rocking one of the other hundreds, it feels like, of Pro Bowlers, Hall of Famers, just Packers. There's so much history. You don't have as many there. I mean, what was the biggest Packers graveyard we saw? Probably Jeff Janis?
Probably, yeah. And I want to bring up more of those names on the other end of the break here. Some of the best jersey graveyard appearances that we saw on day one. Trying to keep an eye out beyond the white picket fencing here to see if anybody else can become an honorable mention. But we will go over the best jersey graveyard selections when we come back here on ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented to you by American Family Insurance.
We're back after this on ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance.
Here's Frank Wazalewski, Vice President of Access.
There are some national factory direct companies that are selling people stair lifts at twice their value. They're breaking within a year, and they can't get service. So now people are paying 3 times what they should have paid from the get-go had they just gone to a local and reputable company. Call us, give us your price from your local contractor. We're going to beat it.
Access, the leaders in ADA general contracting since 1990. Will beat any stair lift quote provided by a local company. Visit allaboutaccess.com.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing. They've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years from their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee. Their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Buying and selling a home can be a stressful process. Hey, it's Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. The We Sell group at Keller Williams has a goal of making it stress-free for everyone. Their passion is people, their availability is unmatched, something I'm experiencing firsthand while I search for a lake home to enjoy Wisconsin summers even more. Rob and Nick are there every step of the way, not just for their sellers, but also to potential buyers and their agents to bring in as many strong offers as possible. Get started today at wesell.kw.com. That's wesell.kw.com.
When you want the best medical attention, you don't just go to anybody, you go to a specialist. The same should be true with your car or truck. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. When your vehicle needs service, take it to a specialist, an Adam member new car dealer. Adam dealers use factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians specially trained on the advanced technology on your vehicle. They have all the latest manufacturer service bulletins and will know if your issue is covered by an existing warranty or if there are any recalls. And despite what you might assume, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine maintenance and tires. Now, knowing all that, why would you even consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
For great paying job opportunities, visit adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
This is ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented to you by American Family Insurance, continues. We want to hear from you on the Carbless Talk and text line 1-800-990-3776. Less is more. If you are looking for a one-stop shop for all things sports cards, you can download the Real Sports Cards app, or if you're near the Waupun, Wisconsin area, you can check them out at Real Sports Cards in Waupun. If you're into sports cards or Pokemon cards or anything in between, Real Sports Cards has you covered with live break streaming right on the app. You can grab individual cards on the go, be a part of a group, and watch for your favorite players and teams as the packs get opened. Go to the Apple or Google Play Store today. Look for that orange logo with the 3 cards in the middle and take your collection to the next level with Real Sports Cards. That is your local resource for all things sports cards, Pokemon cards, and more. And this is the time to buy in, right? These guys are having their dreams realized, turning to professionals from standout college players to NFL players. Stock's going to be up on some of them.
Oh, this is the time. They absolutely. And the best part about what you just mentioned is that you can actually go and box out the teams that you want. So you can go talk to Tom in Waupun, and he's going to say, all right, maybe you know what, you want to get the Shadur card. Wherever he ends up going,
get the
buy
Matthew
low.
Golden card.
Get the Matthew Golden card. Get in line. There's going to be a lot of Packers fans, so make sure you do that. But it's a great app. Again, big orange logo. That's all you're looking for, and I guarantee you're going to enjoy yourself with Tom over there.
We're going to talk a little more Jersey graveyard. So possibly forgotten names that are re-realized, and you remember them as soon as you see the jersey. I just saw a Chargers Eric Weddle walking down the street. That's pretty cool.
Well, multiple. I was going to say plenty-time Pro Bowl with Eric Weddle.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you might even have an All-Pros slipped in there as well. There was, again, this is the time of year. I love this draft. It's the only time you get 32 fan bases all in one spot, celebrate together, the highs and lows. You hate your team, you love your pick, talk yourself into it, and then you get these jersey graveyards. Again, you get to see the Joe Juraviciuses of the world.
Yeah.
You get to see the Sammy Watkinses of the world. You've forgotten
I
these
thought
guys.
I'd see a Watkins this weekend. I haven't yet.
I saw a couple yesterday on Friday.
In what jersey? In a Packers jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, my
the
goodness.
one with the blue and yellow. I know people have very strong opinions one way or another on those. But for me, it wasn't. The green's perfect. But what have you noticed, by the way, with Packers fans? Most groups wear both like the home or road jerseys.
Yeah.
Packers fans, it's like 95% of the jerseys you see are the home green.
Oh, it is strictly that primary green. Yeah.
There's only a few teams you can think of that
The
actually walk
throwbacks,
just
I've seen
that.
a couple of those. I feel like I've seen more of the throwbacks than the aways.
Oh, 100%. I mean, again, with the like, you'll see like the Raiders, for instance, they like rocking the black uniform, so you'll see more of that than others. The Cowboys love rocking the white jerseys. That's their home. It's a gorgeous look, so they wear those. The Packers in the green, it's synonymous with this town.
If you have a jersey that you believe belongs in the jersey graveyard at home, let us know on the Carbless Talk and text line 1-800-990-3776. Less is more. What I'm looking for, I haven't seen it yet, we came close to it, is Jared Abbrederis. I would love to see one of those because that's another double whammy.
Yeah,
Badger
again.
and Packer. We did see Jeff Janis. That made the video on ESPN Wisconsin.
There's still a chance. We're going to have 3 full rounds left where you might still get to see that crossover. We're waiting for the first Badger off the board. It's coming. There's going to be a few guys here over the next couple hours you're going to get probably accustomed to seeing in a different uniform, not around the Wisconsin area, but there's a shot. You see the Jared Abbrederis of the world get home. Stay every now and then. I love when you get those homecomings.
Those were fun. I'm trying to think of other ones that we saw for Jersey Graveyard on Thursday. Johnny Knox was a crazy
Knox was
one.
an insane pull.
A horrible, horrible injury against the Seattle Seahawks that if you look back, I didn't think it was this recent, but Richard Sherman was on the field for that. He got a front row seat to, unfortunately, his back like snapping. That was not fun to watch.
Jermichael Finley.
Jermichael Finley was a good one. Julio Jones Titan jersey, that was a nice touch with the Titans picking 101. And, of course, taking Cam Ward this year.
We also saw, and I don't think this counts as a jersey graveyard necessarily, but the Colorado Buffalo Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
And, Corey, that makes me want to almost bring up what, if you are looking from outside looking in, the story of the NFL draft is Shedeur Sanders is not off the board. We are sitting here at 12:43 on Saturday afternoon.
It's unbelievable.
We thought this was a guy that there was a shot he'd be taken in the top 5.
There were some draft experts that were saying he was a better quarterback than Cam Ward coming in, and he still could be. But that is just how far he's fallen from. He was mocked at 21 for the Steelers early on. We're talking a few weeks ago now. People were scheming him up to go to the Giants. He was wearing the Giants cleats at his bowl game. He was assumed to be a surefire first rounder, if not early too. And here we are. The Raiders are on the clock at pick 135, and maybe that's it. But he still hasn't been picked.
I'm starting to buy into the idea that the team that's going to draft him aren't going to be one of the teams that had pre-draft interviews with him.
No.
I think you're going to see.
He's fallen into your lap.
Somebody's going to take a chance because now that you're at the late stages of round 4, round 5 is only a couple picks away. You're not drafting players at this point expecting them to be day one starters in the NFL. This is typically your backup range. And I think a big question is when you have a quarterback that's going to be a backup, are teams going to take that chance or take the, I guess chance is probably a bad word because talent-wise he's very, very worthy of where he's at now. I mean, he should have been talent-wise taken before this.
Yeah.
But are teams going to be comfortable enough to select him now and bring in what could be a media circus for a backup quarterback role where it's very confident or very obvious that he is confident that he should be a starter in the league? How does that all play out? I think it's part of the reason it's been a terrible perfect storm for him. And, man, I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know where he's going to go. But as each passing minute comes here, it feels increasingly possible that we might get through today without hearing his name.
Which is wild.
Because, again,
unbelievable.
If it hasn't happened by now, what's the difference between the 4th round and the 6th round? Like, what's really changing for you?
Well, and what you brought up the perfect comparison earlier, and we were talking with some of our wonderful teammates here at the Tundra Trio that we don't have the answers to the test right now. We're all looking for it, but we have absolutely no clue what's going on. And you start to wonder if some of these other teams, as Shedeur Sanders for like the 100th pick in a row has been the top best available option on Mel Kiper's best available list, you start to wonder if other teams are going, there must be something I don't know about. Why is he falling like a rock? And I don't want to be the one to find out after I take him. And to our knowledge, there's absolutely nothing. And to quickly pivot back to the prior conversation on the Carbless Talk and text line, 1-800-990-3776. Lists is more. Sam Hawkins said, I have a Jared Aberderis jersey in my basement home. Elite. Wear that thing out, Sam. But back to Shedeur.
Done.
You bring up a point. At what point is there a difference if we get to the middle of round 6 between a team that goes, okay, I'll just take him as an undrafted free agent, and a team that goes, I guess I'll use this on him. But at this point, no one is taking him assuming that he'll be the week 1 starter.
You would imagine not.
At this point in the draft, even you could have made that claim halfway through yesterday. It could truly be a team that has a veteran quarterback on the wrong side of 30 that goes, well, if they go down or if they have a bit of an injury history, Shedeur can be a good contingency plan and fight for that second spot. I have absolutely no clue where he goes. I think anyone out there claiming that there's a favorite for who's going to pick him because of how far he's fallen now is fooling themselves. He could go literally anywhere.
Hell, Vegas doesn't know at this point. Vegas, yesterday, they had Cleveland going into the day as like a minus 230 or something to that effect.
That seemed like the surefire pick, and then the trade out of 2 happened.
And then all of a sudden, the Vegas Raiders were talking about in the same area. Like every moment, that people are trying to figure out where could he possibly go. And then what happened in the middle of yesterday, you started seeing names nobody in the world thought were going to go ahead of him. I mean, when Dylan Gabriel got picked, our teammates over at ESPN Cleveland, it was the 6 of them were, what are you doing? Shedeur's there, and their mouths were open aghast.
Jalen Milroe is off the board.
Jalen Milroe
He's in the
went
Seahawks
off.
depth chart. He's going to be behind Sam Darnold this upcoming season.
And did you just see the reactions from fans? Because we still are trying to figure out, everywhere you watch any draft coverage, people don't know. We're probably going to find something out down the road. The only thing you occasionally see is like the interviews. Like he blew some off, and then the ones that he did do, he didn't get rave reviews in those.
Right.
But it's like, does that justify the fall? I don't know. Because we don't know enough. I feel you can't really just like throw hazard guesses out there. This is why.
Well, and if that's the case, how has that not come out yet?
Well, I mean,
you would think that would start to leak once we get past round 2. Oh, sources are saying that you can't make the accuracy complaint. He was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football last year. So if there's a character issue, whether it be blowing off an interview or not giving off the right vibes when he was meeting with execs and stuff like that, you'd think that would have come out at this point.
But the question for me is, if you're bringing up character issues, look around the league. Look at some of the quarterbacks that have been taken. Look at some of the quarterbacks that just got signed to the biggest contract in NFL history. There are legitimate character issues, but the NFL, what has been always like the calling card, if you're talented enough, they're going to play you for better or worse.
And talent is not an issue at this point in the 4th round. If you're making the claim that Shedeur Sanders, after 130-something picks, should not be assigned an NFL team or picked by an NFL team at this point, you're fooling yourself.
Yeah, well, he's more than talented enough, but again, that's where we're going to find out at some point, right? Somebody's got to figure it out. He's going to be on an NFL roster here in a couple days, at the very least, like signing somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have 3 rounds. It's just, this is a story. When you look all time, Corey, the only one that you can even think of, it resonates here in Green Bay. When Aaron Rodgers fell to 24.
Yeah, it was either him or Alex Smith in that draft.
And then all of a sudden he free-falled. There's guys every now and then you can go through. We'll talk about this, I'm sure, a little bit later. But there's a million names of guys that fell into the second. But then they kind of get scooped up in that 40 to 50 range. What we're seeing right now is unprecedented, and it's going to be one of those where were you when Shedeur Sanders wasn't taken until the 6th round.
Continuing on the Jersey graveyard conversation, Carbless Talk and text line 1-800-990-3776. Lists more. Joel B. says, you missed me in my number 89, Mark Chimura. Are we calling that a graveyard?
We talked about that the other day. I'm like, I can't do my guy like that. I absolutely
don't think so.
Can't do that. It'd be like the same thing if you saw Tauscher. Like,
Wear
am
it
I
out,
going to
Joel.
say that? Absolutely not.
No.
Wear that out.
We thought we saw a Gardner Minshew Raiders jersey, and I was about to fight you on that one, going, do not include that in the video. It ended up being a Michael Crabtree, right? Different 15.
How can you even that? I'm not even.
So is
Gardner Minshew trying to tell me that is not a graveyard?
Is that a graveyard?
Jersey? Yes, it's absolutely a graveyard jersey.
He was just on the team a couple months ago.
And he was so great that he got benched for Aiden O'Connell like 3 separate times throughout the year.
Aiden O'Connell's a solid quarterback.
He's a solid backup.
No, I know.
People had been saying was going to be quarterback 3 when the Raiders took Shedeur in the 2nd round, and here we are.
You brought up Mark Tauscher, and I don't want to bring him up for the Jersey Graveyard conversation. I don't think that is accurate at all. But he had an interesting tweet about the Shedeur Sanders situation and how Green Bay could possibly be involved in any capacity, should it make sense. That's on the other side of the break. This is ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented to you by American Family Insurance.
We're back after this on ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance. You remember the moments from that magical March.
Decker, it's a three. Got it!
On June 26th, celebrate the squad with Made 'em Believe, a special night with Bo Ryan, Frank Kaminsky, and Sam Decker.
Here's Kaminsky, the drop stab,
that's his favorite.
and the two.
Presented by Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, Potosi Varsity Ale, and Potosi Hard Seltzer. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Oh my gosh, Allie, did you look at Janet's roof? Ugh, it's like so flat. It looks like one of those roofing contractor commercials. Who even understands those roofing guys anyways?
I like flat roofs and I cannot lie. You other contractors can't deny. TPO way up high. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring.
If you want a roof that's worth staring at, Avondale Roofing is where you go. Your roofing experts for over 30 years. AvondaleRoofing.com.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Bev Anderson has a big idea she wants to share.
Bev has been here for 24 years.
Hi, Bev. We're anxious to hear your idea.
Kessler's is 45 years old this year. Monica, remember when your dad used to say in every radio ad, "I'm Richard Kessler, and I want to be your jeweler"?
I never got to hear that.
Yeah, and then Rick would say,
Kessler's Diamonds, inconveniently located on Appleton Avenue, Menominee Falls.
Inconveniently?
Richard said it was inconvenient for people to have to drive all the way to Menominee Falls, so he might as well admit it.
Bev, tell us your idea.
Richard said something else in almost every ad, and I think we should start saying it again because it's really important.
Tell us.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
I love that.
Fantastic idea, Bev.
Kessler's Diamonds.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
At the Knickerbocker Hotel, we believe your stay should be as convenient and luxurious as possible. Whether you're planning a small meeting or a special event, our versatile space is perfect for any occasion. Start your day with a delicious meal at the Nick Restaurant and Bar, or unwind at the Nick Salon and Spa. Wanting to stay active? The 24-hour fitness center is always available. If you need something custom made or alterations made, there's a tailor on site. The Knickerbocker, where every detail is designed with your comfort in mind. For more information and to book your next stay, visit knickerbockeronthelake.com.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about my go-to car wash, Tsunami Express. Get your ride looking its best and ride the wave at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for that perfect shine. Sign up for a monthly membership and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Skip the wait with the fast lane and take advantage of great perks. With locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Mount Pleasant, Tsunami Express has you covered. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Visit TsunamiExpress.com to learn more.
Don't miss a second of ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance. Download the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app today and stay on top of it all.
So don't go breaking my heart just to be a part of your
Sun is out, beverages are flowing, fans are happy, and we're over halfway, nearly done with the 4th round of the NFL draft. 4 down, 3 to go. Seeing more names called today than through the first 2 days combined. And I know a lot of people at this stage of the draft are going, I don't really know who that is, and that's totally fair. Not everybody is Mel Kiper, right? But that doesn't mean you're not going to have a franchise guy get pulled out of each of these rounds and have some everyday starters go right before our very eyes here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, just outside of Lambeau Field. We're talking with you live from the Tundra Trio houses here. Corey Sparks, Wally Lukashinsky here with you on ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented to you by American Family Insurance. Damn Sports Show edition. We are coming to you over from our station at ESPN Beaver Dam. Made the trek up here. I already said traffic hasn't been that bad, but
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's been awesome. But there are definitely some diamonds in the rough. I brought up some names before: Max Crosby, Brock Purdy, Tom Brady, many, many others who will go in the late stages of today's draft and will end up having illustrious careers that a lot of people probably did not see coming. Our ongoing question that seems to be doing very well in the Carbless Talk and text line, Liz is more. That is 1-800-990-3776. Graveyard jerseys, let us know what you have. Someone brought up Mark Chmura, number 89. I don't want to put that one in that category. Got me thinking about something, though. Somebody else has a Jared Aberderis jersey in their basement home. Wear that one out, Sam Hawkins. I absolutely love it. But you took a picture of someone. I don't even remember if they made the video on the ESPN Wisconsin social media channels. I think it did. They were next to the Jermichael Finley jersey. Does Eddie Lacy count?
I feel
he
like
had a couple
it has
really
to.
good years.
He did, but it was short-lived in what you drafted and expected him to be. I feel like it counts because when you talk about like running backs that have really like made a difference here, what's the first one you think of? Amon Green.
Yeah.
The Aaron Jones lately. I was just saying, third most rushing yards in Packers history. A.J. Dillon's another one where down the road we'll probably call a Jersey Graveyard.
I do think he'll turn into that. The mayor of Door County.
But I guess it depends on what you decipher, what you distinguish as an actual like Jersey Graveyard jersey. Because for instance, like if you're having a guy that just isn't a part of the team anymore, then sure, you can have that as long as it's fair. I think that's okay.
Our producer Will Summers back at the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at ESPN Milwaukee. It should not be the first time I'm bringing him up. He's been plugging us all day long. But he just told me he has a TCU Max Duggan jersey. That is most definitely a graveyard jersey in my book. He was the most famous quarterback out there for about 5 or 6 days. And the fall from grace, wasn't he on the Chargers for a little bit? And then we just haven't heard from him since.
He beat those scumbag cheaters from Michigan in the semifinal.
I wonder who you're a fan of in
college
football.
Did I say that? My
the
bad.
claws are coming out.
So Max Duggan always hero. What was that, Hunter Vaughn? 08. There you go, I love you. My man.
Oh, Max Duggan is most definitely one. If someone can go out and pull a Max Duggan Chargers jersey, that's 100% it. But I think Max Duggan in any capacity is graveyard worthy. So Eddie Lacy would fall under there. Like,
I would count it.
Just thinking of other names that have had, sparks of potential, but they're not there consistently and went on to other teams. Like Micah Hyde. Is that going to be it down the road? He was electric in certain
That's
capacity.
The thing. He was very, very, very talented when he was here.
Went to the Bills and had some good years as well.
Well, see, and that's where it's interesting, too.
There's not a negative connotation to it.
And if you're saying that it's not a negative connotation, if you're talking about guys that were on the team and maybe even at a very high level and just aren't a part of it anymore, it's been years. Like, if you distinguish that way, it's like, do guys that are Hall of Famers count then? Because they aren't a part of the team, probably haven't been. If they're in the Hall of Fame for at least 5 years. Some of these guys haven't played. I mean, this is where Green Bay fans are so special, too. You walk around and you see Don Hudson jerseys. You see Bart Starr jerseys, Brett Favre jerseys. I mean, it's just nonstop. These guys that are Hall of Famers, jerseys retired here. And, I mean, you don't see that in a lot of places. This place it's got a rich history. I mean, talk about guys. You started this segment here today that, well, you are still going to find diamonds in the rough. Ever heard of Donald Driver?
Yeah.
7th round pick in 1999 for the Packers.
Those guys are out there. There's going to be a handful of them every single year.
They exist. You can still get guys. It goes back to
Amon-Ra St. Brown, more recent as well in the division.
You got to hit on day 1 and 2. Those are the days that you're supposed to hit. You're supposed to get your starters, the guys that change your teams. But when you can do that on day 3,
that's a steal.
That is where you win Super Bowls. This is where you differentiate yourself from the pack. You look at who just won in Philadelphia. Jordan Mailata was either a 6th or 7th round pick, slip in my mind, part of that pathway program that is catching more steam by the year. It's such a cool thing that the NFL does. This is worth watching. I love day 3 of the NFL draft. I feel like this is where you kind of separate the The real ones from the people out here having just for fun.
Tyler C. chimed in on our Carbless Talkin' text line and said Charlie Batch when he was on the Lions.
Oh.
So Lions and Steelers quarterback who went 25 and 30 over his career.
Steelers legend right there.
61 touchdowns,
Steelers.
52 INTs. That is a legendary one.
No, that's a good. There's a few. We wanted to see a Ben Kirk one the other day.
I thought I did. So that was another rule of thumb we had when we were looking for jersey graveyard candidates. If you are debating whether it's a custom jersey with someone's name on it or you don't know if it's a player, that's a jersey graveyard.
Yeah.
Assuming it is a player.
So if it's a player,
if you
it's
have
not
to
even a doubt.
question if it's an actual jersey, that 100% belongs.
Special teamers is another one that I saw a J.K. Scott jersey. I wish I could have got an actual picture of that. I'm like, that is dedication.
Yeah.
There was a circle of fans that had 4 different special teamers. It must have been like a bit they were doing because you had Mason Crosby, you had Scott, you had 2 others. I can't remember.
A long snapper. In there.
Literally, one of them was the long snapper. I can't remember who it was because it was been like
Slipping
15
my
years
mind as well.
But this is what it's about. I love that you get just a group of this. The draft. It's first of all, the NFL does it so much better than other sports.
It does. Yeah.
The people care about this.
It's so vast.
People are diehard baseball fans. They're diehard hockey fans, diehard NBA fans. And what do they care about? The lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lottery passes, and it's, all right, cool, I'll check in who we drafted in a day.
Yeah.
I'll
throw the film up in a few weeks.
People travel from all over the country to just stand in a group of people because it is the NFL fraternity is special.
To the end. The crowd is still remarkable out there. I don't want to make official projections, but don't be shocked if that final number for the entire weekend ends up being well over 500,000.
If it's not over 500,000, it's going to be very close.
Yeah.
And the projections were close to a quarter going in.
Yeah, not even close. Like, they've already passed that. They've already passed the projection for the entire weekend over the first 2 days.
It's been, seriously, you just see a stream of people nonstop, and 90% are Packers fans. Packer Nation, whatever you want to call it, Packerland, is what I like to say. They have showed out in full, tenfold.
Jared Cook. That's not graveyard, is it?
I'm counting that.
You are?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, the one that I would be up in the air about
Brett
is
Conway
Bubba Franks.
Yeah.
I loved. He was like one of those first guys. Everybody had him. The guy that was like, an average-ish player that you fell in love with when you were a kid, that you like remembered as being some like, oh, he must have been like a 7-time Pro Bowler.
Yep.
And I go back and looking through Bubba Frank's numbers. I'm like, I thought this guy was like it. When I grew up, I'm like, I wanted to be Bubba Franks in the backyard.
Yep.
And instead, I'm like, oh, wow, the numbers probably weren't exactly what I exactly thought they were going to be. Everybody has those guys. Everyone has them.
Dave from Aaron on our Carbless Talkin' text line, was definitely listening on the special teams part of this conversation. Brett Conway, former place kicker for Washington for a bit,
Another
a year
one.
at Oakland, a year over with the Jets, 2 more years with Washington, went to the Giants, and then went to Cleveland. If you ever play NFL Immaculate Grid, that's a really good name.
That anytime you get
Jumping around.
The journeyman special teamers, I think of like Nick Folk or Shane Graham, the names that you probably have no business
Roberto
to remember.
Aguayo is going to go down as one.
Oh, my gosh.
One of the
like
earliest
Yeah.
drafted kickers,
Yes.
and that did not turn out very well.
Special stuff there. Yeah, whenever you get the kickers going day 2 or day 3 at like the very beginning. Jake Moody had a scare a few years ago in San Francisco where you're like, is this guy not going to pan out?
Yeah.
I mean, you get a leg and a half on these guys, but kicking in the NFL, it ain't easy. That between the ear stuff,
They're making it more difficult, too.
I mean, it's not exactly
The extra
getting
point's not exactly a chip shot anymore.
Well, and the kickoff rules, too. I mean, being a
Dynamic
kicker, it's
kickoff,
not
yeah.
something exactly for the fan of heart these days.
No, a lot of pressure lies on you, whether that's fair or not. We want to shift back over to the Shadur Sanders talk when we return, as Mark Tauscher had a certain idea that some of you might want to hear. This is ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance.
Beat the tariffs. This month
Something
at
we can
Cunis.
briefly
Get your
mention, too.
tariff-free
Sam
car,
Howell.
truck, or SUV before they're gone. All current in-stock new vehicles are not affected. Plus, take advantage of employee pricing and huge manufacturer discounts on select brands and models. Shop from over 2,800 cars, trucks, and SUVs group-wide from 18 new vehicle brands. Our loan experts will work to get you our best interest rate possible. And our Fresh Start financing program can help you get approved
approved regardless of your credit. Plus, you're covered by our lifetime no-fear powertrain warranty, included with qualified new and pre-owned vehicle purchases. Visit your local Cunis dealership today for your tariff-free vehicle while they last. But don't wait, because once they're gone, they're gone. With over 30 locations across the Midwest, there's sure to be a Cunis location near you. Start your search online at shopcunis.com. That's shopkunes.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. No limit. Pay no interest until 2030, plus $500 off your home improvement project. Restrictions apply. Call 414-410-2000.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Spork's called Screamin' Sicilian's holy pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Okay, Green Bay, it's your time.
The NFL draft gets underway in Green Bay.
Look at all of these people expecting $250 million over the weekend here in Green Bay.
We need to continue to ramp up our sense of urgency.
If they're not better this year, there's going to be a lot of seats warming up.
They've needed receivers in the first round and not done it.
With the 23rd pick.
We were watching the board and just trying to do what's right for the Packers.
In the 2025 NFL Draft.
Great spin by Golden. Man, that was 24-karat Golden.
The 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers.
It was so cool, the energy that the Packer fans got, man. I could just feel it. I'm glad the organization picked me. Guys are coming in and making an impact quicker, and I certainly think Matthew has the opportunity to do that.
For the first time since 2002.
On a night when they announced the pick in Green Bay, what an awesome, awesome moment.
They took Matthew Golden.
Draft a wide receiver.
Welcome to my Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden is a Green Bay Packer.
Love the Packers getting Matthew Golden, a guy they needed.
Touchdown, Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas.
I don't think he's supposed to grab the podium microphone and yell to the fans after he's picked.
Welcome to my
Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
The Packers are good as gold as you look back at what they did in the first round, something they hadn't done in 23 years. Got to go back to 2002, the last time the Packers selected a wide receiver in the first round. We were talking a little Jersey graveyard, got a couple more good. What Tyler C. is saying, Javon Curse, a Titans jersey. Titans
he was
jersey
so good, though.
Specifically.
But that's one of those, again, like, you're going the big hurt. I mean, it feels like you can't go like that. Like the freak back then. I mean, he was so good. Does that count? That's the question for you.
This is ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented to you by American Family Insurance. The Damn Sports Show edition through 2 o'clock, and then we will be all wrapped up for live coverage, at least, across ESPN Wisconsin. And the ESPN Wisconsin app, you can always listen back to any of the shows from the earliest stages of Thursday all the way to the end of our mid-afternoon coverage here on Saturday on the ESPN Wisconsin app in Google, Apple, Android, all the Play stores. Go in and download the ESPN Wisconsin app to listen back to everything Wisconsin sports. We've got a very interesting and very relevant contribution on the Carbless Talk and Text line, 1-800-990-3776. Less is more. Again, that's 1-800-990-3776. Don C., this is phenomenal for what we were about to run into. We were talking about Shadur Sanders, says, A capper to the weekend would be Sanders fall ends in a Packers uniform. What a perfect end to a hard fall right here in Titletown. Just imagine the hard knocks we would get. That's from Don C. on the Carbless Talk and text line. List is more. I'll tell you what, Don, a certain Mark Tauscher would tend to agree with you because he was on X last night, little Twitter fingers, and said he was floating the question around about at what point did the Packers, if at all, possibly debate picking him up, because it's no longer about getting yourself a starter. That ship has long sailed. From a talent perspective, you could argue it makes sense for any of the 32 teams that have now passed up on him 3, 4, in some cases on the teams that were loading up picks multiple in one round 5 times. Obviously, they're locked down with Love at $55 million a year for the next handful of years. Does that even make sense? Is that even worth considering? That's the second one I've seen in the last couple of hours. First, it was Mark Tauscher. Now we have Don C. in the Carbless Talk and text line. Does Brian Gutekunst even entertain that?
I think that the big question is for whoever at this point is going to take Shedeur, is he going to be comfortable here in a backup role? Is he going to not, I guess, rock the boat at any point? Is the media circus, is the fan base not going to push for Shedeur to start down the road? Here, you know Jordan Love is the guy.
Right.
You know he's not going to at any point have job problems or the job insecurity that a lot of places will.
No, you look to the money. He is tied to this team.
If Shedeur hey, you know what? I'm willing to sit down and be a backup, then it would be a match made in heaven. You have a high-level backup at that point. I don't think that the Packers even entertain it, though, because he is a guy that many believe is a late first or early second value pick. He's not going to want to sit on the bench for 4 or 5 years until he gets his shot at free agency. So I feel like you might be just opening a can of worms by bringing him in. I would be flabbergasted if it ends up ending in green and gold. I think it's going to be one of these teams where you might have a veteran quarterback that he's probably on like a 1 or 2 year, and then you're probably moving on plan.
And it's wide open. It probably, at this point, with how late he's going to get selected, if he gets selected, I called you insane a couple of hours ago for floating the idea that Shedeur wouldn't even get drafted, and here we are in the early stages of round 5. Pick 143 just went by. Jordan Phillips, a defensive tackle, Maryland, and he still hasn't gone, so it does look possible. Even if he is behind a veteran quarterback, it probably is going to be in a situation where this 5th, 6th, 7th round pick, unless he really impresses in camp, it's not just his. It's not just his offense in 2 to 3 years.
When we were at break right now, our wonderful video producer, just wonderful overall human being, Hunter Vaughn, and it was talking with us, and he is a Dallas Cowboys fan. Ooh. And he had thrown an idea out there. He's like, doesn't it kind of feel like this could be Shedeur time with the Dallas Cowboys in the 5th round? Does that not scream Jerry Jones? Does that not seem like an actual marriage there? He plays for his father's old team. He plays behind Dak Prescott, who, mind you, is starting to get a little older. He just had a year where he missed. That feels like a perfect home for him.
I'm very curious what your take is on this end of it, too. So, obviously, let's say in this crazy hypothetical world where Shedeur falls to the Packers. He's fallen to somebody, assuming he gets drafted. Malik Willis had a nice little stint there. He had the win against the Colts here at Lambeau, and then he had the Malik Willis revenge game against a team that basically said, we don't want to play with you anymore, in the Tennessee Titans.
This was a Toy Story reference there. I like that.
Yes. Matt Schneidman, Green Bay Packers beat writer for The Athletic, just came out and said, I do think the Packers go quarterback at some point today. They have 5 picks. And Malik Willis, given that relatively small sample size, but still impressive performance that we saw from him over a couple of weeks, Malik's probably going to be too expensive to sign as a quarterback 2 next offseason. Let a rookie develop before backing up Love in 2026. Even if Shedeur falls to the 5th or 6th, I don't see it. Would love it for the story. Some would say Malik Willis has earned that QB2 spot, but others would say, depending on that price tag, is he too expensive now?
Sorry, Hunter Vaughn was trying to wave me down. The Browns just traded up to pick 144.
Ooh.
And that feels like it might be a Shedeur pick right there. I mean, they did take Dylan Gabriel last night, but
wide open quarterback.
Again, when you talk about our teammates over at ESPN Cleveland, it wasn't just them. Browns fans in general were looking around like, Dylan Gabriel?
Yeah.
Here?
Every time the Browns are on the clock, I think we're all kind of perking up a little bit going, oh, is this where it happens? The Browns,
they were the favorites, the
yes.
draft favorites going into at least a few days ago even, before the round started as a possibility. I mean, we're going to keep our eye. They are on the clock now. We'll know very quickly if that's going to be them. man, I just am at this point, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know where he could go. I think that my call going into today was it was going to be a place that has not met with him, that did not use one of those player meetings on him, that say, you know what, let's take a flyer on this guy. You brought up the Packers angle of things with Malik Willis. Malik Willis has got 1.2, I think, or something in that neighborhood of dead cap space right now.
Yeah.
So if you move off 1.4, excuse me. So if you moved off of him, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And Malik might even be a guy that would be not really much of a choice of being that emergency number 3 quarterback in a situation where maybe you give Shedeur a true redshirt year.
If there's anything about the Browns that I think we've learned, not even today, but just over their history, they are truly unpredictable.
Oh, they're
I don't think
God
a lot
bless
of people,
Browns fans. They are strong people.
The last few hours, one of them your friend that came up for the draft weekend. I don't think anyone outside of, the last couple of hours before the draft started on Thursday predicted they'd make that 2 to 5 swap and not get a tangible player back. It was all pick swaps, was it not?
Well, but the key was, and this is partly why I'm not sure.
Now Travis Hunter's a Jaguar.
Well, it's part of the reason I don't think it would be Shedeur here is because it feels like the Browns are already eyeing that class in 2026. They seem content rolling with Joe Flacco at quarterback.
Yeah.
And it does not feel like this is going to be Shedeur. At least don't believe so. But I don't – man, Corey, I'm trying to find like an actual like this is where he goes. I don't think there's that like guarantee spot anymore. It felt crazy a few hours ago. You kind of laughed at me. I could see him being undrafted at the end of the day.
And then he's just one of the first UDFAs to get snatched up right away.
Because then there's very low risk. If there's not much risk now, but you're talking about even lower risk if you bring him in for like, all right, let's see how this works. You want to come in for camp? If we don't feel comfortable with it, we'll move off you. And it almost is like the best way to say it. It like makes Shedeur almost like stay in check. What is it? Him?
I think it is him.
No way.
Yep.
It happened to Cleveland Browns. The Browns did it?
A couple of different Browns reporters are saying the Browns have traded up to select quarterback Shedeur Sanders.
We're about to find out right here.
44th overall pick.
The story of the draft. It might be finally wrapping up here. Oh, boy. I tell you what, Corey. All of a sudden, how do you feel if you're Dylan Gabriel? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to play? All right, here it comes. After the disaster they've had at quarterback the last few years.
Something to be said about them trading up.
144th pick. Moment of truth. It's happening. There it is.
And there is an
audible
raucous roar out here.
An audible gasp.
I think everyone in the area is thinking the same one word. Finally? He went in the 5th round.
Well, it's interesting, too, because we look back at about a month or two ago.
Have fun, Dylan Gabriel.
What did Deion Sanders say? That, you know what, there's going to be some places that I don't let my son go play quarterback for.
Is that part
There's
of it?
not, first of all, a choice at this point. You got to go where you're drafted. But
some people have done that, though.
Cleveland is not exactly, dare I say, a quarterback hotbed of success.
No, I don't think you're stretching there.
You're coming off of the worst. For the longest time, you had the cape. You had Browns fans wearing that cape where they have 30 or 40 different quarterbacks since the new team came in. You finally move off that because you get Baker Mayfield, which felt like a hit. Then you said, you know what, see you later, have fun. We are going to bring in Deshaun Watson, who you know enough about. I will leave it at that. It has just been circus after circus.
They're not scared of it either. They don't shy away from throwing in high-profile names and seeing what happens. Who jumped on Johnny Manziel? Obviously, very different situation. But the Browns.
Kevin Stefanski, though, he is a heck of an offensive play caller. And, Deshaun Watson almost cost him his job this year.
Yeah.
But when you were talking about anybody else at the quarterback spot, they have been an exceptional, at least by Brown standards, offense. For as far as situations and homes go, going back there sitting behind a veteran like Joe Flacco, I think there's worse things.
And I'm not going to make the comparison that this is the same thing. The NFL and the NCAA, especially where it's at right now, are two completely different animals. But Colorado was a forgettable football program until a couple of years ago. Obviously, with NIL and bringing over a lot of talent from that Jackson State team, they got better. Shedeur has a lot to do with that. There is a reason they retired his number. They went from being a squad that wasn't even sniffing bowl games to being a ranked contender through the back end of last year's season, and now he's a Brown. So the name finally goes off. Shedeur Sanders goes at 144th overall. The wait is over. We could finally shift back to Packers talk. It felt like everyone was tense, waiting. You could sense it was maybe going to happen. You see a trade up in early round 5, and now he is off the board. To the team a lot of people thought he'd go to just almost 48 hours later.
About 150 picks later.
Yeah, weird development there. But we'll still talk about Shedeur. Obviously, Shedeur to the Packers is quite literally impossible now, so there goes that.
Oh, yeah, that's dead.
Not that it was ever too alive, but a fun hypothetical to throw around as he kept falling down the board. We brought up the man of the weekend, the man of the draft, Matthew Golden. Of course his last name is Golden. Of course he goes to the Packers.
Golden hour.
Unbelievable, yeah. So what is it fair to expect out of Matthew Golden in year 1? We'll go over his scouting profile, what he brings to the table, a potential weakness to watch out for, and how he's overall going to fit into this Packers offense. That is coming up on the other side. This is ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented to you by American Family Insurance.
We're back after this on ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance. The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe. June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wildy?
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts.
Yeah, sure. Okay. No drafts. Got it.
There's more than one draft?
No, but Pella should be everyone's #1 pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades when you order by April 30th. Our talented designers and installers can match your unique home through dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more, along with durable and distinguished details. All Pella products stand the test of time, which is why we confidently offer the best wood warranty in the industry.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 4/30/2025.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. I have a question for you business owners. How do your books look? Are they ready for your tax return to be prepared? Did you and your accountant talk during the year and develop a plan to minimize your tax bill? Or does this sound like you? You can never get a hold of your CPA. Phone calls are not returned and questions are never answered. Your books are a mess and the bank account hasn't been reconciled since last year. You don't get any advice to help you run your business. That's not the case with the Neal Group. We are advocates and partners with our clients to help them grow. We like to work with you throughout the year to keep your books up to date so you run your business profitably. Are you ready to grow your business, improve cash flow, have less stress, and live a better life? We can help. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net to book a meeting and see if we can help. The first meeting is free. Don't wait. Do it now. That's 414-325-2040 or nealgroup.net.
Draft week is here, and whether you're watching every pick or just there for the party, Higher Love has everything you need to elevate your draft experience. As the best in the Midwest, Higher Love offers the largest selection of organic, clean, green, certified products at unbeatable value, making them the can't-miss top pick. Higher Love Menominee, just an hour from Green Bay, right across the Wisconsin border. Find them at findhigherlove.com/CBD.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
They say seeing is believing. And when you check out what's waiting for you at American Place Casino, you'll definitely believe you'll love it. From thrilling gaming to top-notch service, we're changing the game. Come play all your favorites like blackjack, craps, roulette, and the latest slots. Catch a game at the sportsbook, enjoy great restaurants, bars, and more. If you're ready for excitement, exceptional service, and an experience you'll never forget, then we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't miss a second of ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance. Download the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app today and stay on top of it all.
Breaking news, everyone. Shedeur will not be a Green Bay Packer. Shocked. I know. All jokes aside, he goes 144th overall, 6th pick in the 5th round. He joins Dylan Gabriel. He joins Joe Flacco. He joins Deshaun. He joins a huge, loaded, compact.
Loaded is
chaotic.
Depends on what you mean by that word.
More just there's a plethora of quarterbacks right now. Not really from a talent perspective.
Kenny Pickett, Dylan
Pickett's
Gabriel.
in there too.
They took Dylan Gabriel at 83. That is where 83. You're still expected to be getting like high-level backups or even starters there.
Yes.
The idea that you go out there.
He might not make the 53 man.
You might. I mean, somebody's going to have to go. Deshaun Watson's gone. That's going to happen. The Haslams have already come out and said, this is on us. We shouldn't have done this to begin with. That's our mistake. He won't be there. But you have to imagine at least one of these other guys are gone. You just brought Kenny Pickett in. You brought Dylan Gabriel in for a 3. Now Shedeur. Who's to say who it is?
The timeline's unbelievable.
This is just baffling. And, man, I know that this has been probably the most stressful 48 hours of his life. But
it's good to have a home. But
yeah, congratulations on finding a home. You are still a part of this league.
I think Cleveland fans would have felt a lot better if they just took him in the 3rd.
You're 100%
or if someone
right.
else not playing quarterback was taken in the 3rd and Shedeur happened to fall. Our awesome video producer, Hunter Vaughn, just tipped that maybe they jumped in front of the Cowboys here, who picked a handful of picks behind them. He would have gone there possibly, sat behind Dak Prescott. That was very Cleveland Browns.
Well, here's the thing. We say that now, but who knows? If he lives up to the talent side of things, what are people going to be saying in 10 years?
Oh.
It'll be wow, you know what? He should have been taken there. What a steal.
Yeah.
So, but it is Cleveland, so peace and love to all my family and friends out in Ohio.
Good
love
luck.
them to death. But we know your history of developing quarterbacks, so Godspeed to Shedeur Sanders.
There we go. Well, so Matthew Golden was picked 23rd overall, 23 years removed from the last time that the Packers selected a wide receiver in the 1st round. And a lot are wondering what is fair to expect from him in year 1. The hope is that at some point he becomes the wide receiver 1. But at what point will that be? And who better to listen to than Brian Gutekunst himself on if he believes Golden can contribute right off the jump?
I do. We've talked in here before. I mean, I think the world's changed a little bit. It always takes receivers a little bit of time to get going. It used to be kind of that end of year 2, middle of year 3 when they really, things slowed down for them and they could really produce. So we've had a lot of history with that, where that happened. I think because of the high school football and the way they throw it around, 7-on-7s, and just some of the things that have changed on the lower levels, guys are coming in and making an impact quicker. And I certainly think Matthew has the opportunity to do that. Now, we got some good players in that room, so he's not going to have to kind of carry the load that way. But I think he has a chance to contribute, not only as a receiver, but I think he's got some special team return ability as well that could help us.
I mean, the closest reference point we could use was the 2nd-round pick that was used on Christian Watson. They kind of used him on end-arounds, gadget guy, got him in motion, tried to take advantage of the speed, and then he obviously had the breakout game against the Cowboys. In the back end of his rookie season, it looked like, we got a first-rounder. We just took him a little bit later. With Matthew Golden, Goody brings up a great point that in modern-day football, even at the high school level, obviously he's coming out of a pro-style offense in Texas, they are throwing the ball around a little bit more. Wide receiver doesn't have as much blocking responsibility as they might usually. They've got a more extensive route tree. Here's the scouting report on him, right? 4.29 40-yard dash. That seems to be common
fast?
knowledge. Very fast. It was the fastest at his position in the combine, right? So he's got that going for him. You keep hearing the phrase he's going to be able to take the top off an opposing defense. That's what the Packers could be looking for. And there's where the concerns of is he just brought in as a Christian Watson replacement in year 4, where he's probably going to miss about half of that year. That's a different conversation. But he was the main option out wide on a championship contending football team in Texas. Overcame a quarterback in Quinn Ewers who was fine, underwhelming that season. Obviously the Arch Manning circus behind him. A lot of people were calling for his job a little bit. Ended up being fine, didn't really perform down the stretch. His name hasn't been called, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he's one of the other ones that are very high.
Will Howard's still up there.
Yep, a couple big quarterback names.
So upside, obviously, speed, great hands, great route runner. Downside, at least looking at a Bleacher Report scouting report ahead of the draft, when he's put in the slot on run plays, he's not the best run blocker. Guys have actually ran right through him. And then those handsy corners, depending on how the refs are playing that day, if they're trying to jam you right at the line of scrimmage, he's had trouble working through that. So I know Josh DiMaggio made the comparison, and I hope this ends up being true of him being someone who can fly all around. There's not just a couple of different sets that are run for him. He can be there on every single snap if he needs to be once he's matured and learns the entire playbook. The Jordy Nelsons, the Greg Jennings, you hope that he can work through contact a little better. That seems to be the weak suit. But with Goody saying that he believes there's a better chance he can contribute right away, I get hopeful for 2 reasons. One, the fact that he does have more experience being in that modern offense where it's more pass-heavy. And 2, this is the spot to be a first-round wide receiver. It's wide open. If he impresses in camp, maybe by week 8 or 9 he is the guy.
Yeah, he's going to be probably given a lot of expectations based on the fans here. There's a first time, 23 years, anytime that happens, people are going to be extra cognizant of what you're doing on the football field. You brought up, he's a little smaller. You can't teach size, but he's built well for his size. You're talking about right around that 6-foot mark. He's just a shade under 2.
He'll pack a punch.
The question for me is that you're going to have potentially 2 wide receivers on the football field between him and Jaden Reed that are not physical blockers at a time. That's your only drawback right now. I tell you, the one comp I've seen nonstop since the draft talk has started happening here about a month and a half ago is Santonio Holmes.
Ooh.
The former Super Bowl champion from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Very similar in size, very, very quick, great acceleration. In the hands, he has soft hands. You're talking about a guy that doesn't drop the football, and this is a team in Green Bay that had their fair share of drops last year. And once again, it was kind of an Achilles heel for this group. Now you have a guy with an incredible catch radius for a guy of his size, those soft hands I mentioned. And how about the sideline awareness from him? To where I absolutely love the Santonio Holmes comparison.
Get the feet down.
What is the Santonio Holmes play that everybody in the world knows?
The toe tap in the corner.
The toe tap in the corner, one of the best plays in Super Bowl history. And that is the kind of guy you're getting, a guy that in the red zone, when you're typically a little smaller, you don't think of a guy being a red zone threat. He was exceptional at Texas. He's a guy that finds the end zone. He has a smell for Pater. His nose gets him there. He knows where those soft spots on the defense are. I know that Packers fans are going to expect the world. Maybe you be patient with them in the first month or 2, but I don't think there's any reason to believe that if he stays healthy, that he can't be a guy that gets close to 1,000 yards in his first year. Sky's the limit with this guy, man. Athletic off the charts right now.
Well, and you brought up a great point with Jaden Reed being in the slot, being not a great run blocker. A lot of people hear the phrase, can take the top off an opposing defense, is a vertical threat, and they want to make the Christian Watson comp. You could make the Jaden Reed comparison as well, in that they can throw him all over if they want to. Not the biggest guy, good route runner. He's a little more speedy than Reed, but
it's funny, but you bring up Reed. It's funny to me that you do, just because Savion Williams is the one that I thought of right away. You had 2 different wide receivers you took.
He had a very interesting final year at TCU. They really worked him in the backfield more.
He was the only wide receiver in the country that had 6 touchdowns or more, both as a pass catcher and as a runner of the football.
Like a Deebo Samuel, a Jaden Reed for Green Bay, a Cordero Patterson. He's a bit bigger.
And I know that I just mentioned Packers had a lot of drop issues, so this is going to be a weird thing to bring up right after. He has a lot of drop issues.
Yes.
But the thing with Savion Williams, to your point, Corey, they found creative ways to get him the ball. He can be explosive. He can be a game wrecker. He can be the Cordero Patterson is what everybody's saying for this guy, where he's probably going to also be involved heavily in special teams. think another person that's sitting there a little sweaty under the collar right now is Mecole Hardman.
Oh, yeah.
You have two guys now that you drafted in the last, 48 hours.
We heard that word urgency early on in the offseason, and it seems to be that the majority of the emphasis on urgency is put in the wide receiving core, which, unfortunately for Mecole Hardman, he also plays that position.
Don't expect to see Mecole Hardman playing wide receiver very much this year. We'll see if he makes the team after these couple of acquisitions here at the draft. But Savion Williams, if he can get that kind of Deebo Samuel role, what's that mean for Jaden Reed?
Yeah.
You don't see those kind of more unique packages for him as much, do you?
I don't know if they start to dig into each other's snap counts. Obviously, Jaden Reed was not a first-round pick. Do you start to put more eggs in the basket of someone that you feel has higher upside in Golden? The 4 names the Packers have picked so far: Matthew Golden, wide receiver for Texas in the first round; Anthony Belton, offensive tackle for NC State in the second; Savion Williams, the wide receiver we were just talking about for TCU, round 3; and Barron Sorrell, an edge rusher for Texas in round 4. Want to learn more about these guys? There is no better person to ask than the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, and Jason Wilde. We hear from him next here on ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance.
More coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance.
Looking for a Milwaukee tradition? It's Saz, and for nearly 50 years, Saz's have been serving up award-winning ribs that'll make your taste buds dance. Don't miss our festival-famous mozzarella marinara, the appetizer that put us on the map and keeps Milwaukee coming back for more. Whether you're heading to a game or just catching up with family and friends, make Saz's your place to go. 55th and State. Saz's, where memories are made and stories are shared, one delicious bite at a time. Saz's State House, the finest. A Milwaukee tradition since 1976.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Nestled along the shores of Lake Michigan, the Knickerbocker Hotel offers a timeless escape in the heart of Milwaukee. Immerse yourself in the rich history of this iconic landmark where charm meets modern luxury. Picture yourself enjoying breathtaking lake views, luxurious rooms, and dining at one of the finest restaurants in the city. Whether you're visiting for a weekend getaway or a special occasion, the Knickerbocker promises an unforgettable experience. Your perfect stay awaits at the Knickerbocker Hotel. For more information and to book your next stay, visit knickerbockeronthelake.com.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
Oh my gosh, Allie, did you look at Janet's roof? Ugh, it's like so flat. It looks like one of those roofing contractor commercials. Who even understands those roofing guys anyways?
I like flat roofs and I cannot lie. You want the contractors can't deny. TPO way up high. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring.
If you want a roof that's worth staring at, Avondale Roofing is where you go. Your roofing experts for over 30 years. AvondaleRoofing.com.
Whether tailgating or hosting at home, don't serve boring, bland food. As the official grill of the Green Bay Packers, Pit Boss brings the heat with a wide range of wood pellet grills, smokers, and hardwood pellet fuel. Reach another level of flavor that can't be achieved with a charcoal or gas grill, and it's beyond easy. Seriously, Pit Boss grills get cooking with just a few simple steps. Grill, smoke, bake, roast, braise, char grill, barbecue, and direct flame sear. The all-in-one Pit Boss does it all. Learn more today at pitboss-grills.com.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin is still cattle country. And that's why Bunzel's chose to stay close to home to hand select the finest beef. Quality goes into everything they do, from Bunzel's expansive array of meats, homemade specialty sausages, and their award-winning beef jerky. It just isn't a proper holiday meal without Bunzel's top quality cuts on the dinner table. Tasting is believing. Visit Bunzel's at 90th and Burleigh or bunzels.com.
This is ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Jumping off the porch like mom's not home. Tell me why the best things feel so wrong. Summer nights, love them how they take so long. Run with the
ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented to you by American Family Insurance, rolls on. We are the Dam Sports Show, originally from Beaver Dam. Made the nice drive up to Green Bay, and boy, has it been worth it. Corey Sparks, Wally Lukashinsky here with you, wrapping up the weekend, and we are now joined by the three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, the one and only Jason Wilde, who we were happy to meet for the first time in person a couple of days ago. Jason, how is day 3 treating you?
How many days ago was that? Was that Wednesday?
That was
Thursday?
Time's been flying,
it's been a long few days. Yeah, well, maybe for you.
We get to talk to you, Jason. It's always great.
Well, it's not as great as talking to Baron Sorrell, which we just got done doing, and I'll tell you what, this is draft 29 for me. I'm not. That's almost 30 years of this. Never seen anything quite like that. I mean, I've seen guys who were emotional and guys that were motivated by their families or grateful for the opportunity. But what we just saw, I mean, I couldn't believe it when they drafted him and Goodell goes up there, which I don't know, was Goodell not planning on being here today or being at the podium? He's wearing a hat, which I usually do when I didn't shower yet in the day. He's up there on stage and he introduces a player. I'm like, what's going on here? And then the Packers have picked a guy who's here on day 3 in the 4th round. What is going on here, right? And then he makes his way from the stage up to us over here at Lambeau Field, and it was this incredible gamut of emotions, the unbridled joy of being drafted. And then Matt Steinman from The Athletic asked him to introduce who the people were that were all sitting in the front row who were there with him. And it was his brother, his parents, his godparents, some other family friends, his agent. And he got completely overwhelmed with emotion talking about his parents. And then, then we talked a little bit of football, and then, I kind of brought it back to the emotion, just trying to tie it together with, are you an emotional type of player? Because we've seen every emotion from you. And I'll tell you what, it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen on a draft weekend. And I've talked to you guys, for weeks about how I don't love the draft industrial complex of, here's my 17th mock draft. Who did I pick in the 3rd round in this one? But this is why I love draft day, because those types of moments, and this kid now starting his NFL journey and starting it from the green room on the last day of the draft and the only one being in there, and that is a big room. Yeah. So I hope he get tested out every single couch while he was waiting. But that was really, I always tell you guys it's about the story, and that when I think of myself, I think of myself as a storyteller, and I'm really excited to tell Baron Sorrell's story, because that was, for an old guy to see something like that was pretty neat, because it reminds you why you love doing what I get to do.
And you could tell, Jason, that he, like Matthew Golden and the other 2 picks so far, are super excited to be Packers. They can't wait to get to work. From a skill set perspective, why him at that spot, and what does the first 3 picks being on offense say about the confidence that Goody has on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when we talk about best player available and all that kind of stuff, we're going to have to give Goody his flowers, at least on the pick yesterday of Savion Williams, because he had actually told us that they considered him with the second-round pick when they took Anthony Belton, the enormous offensive lineman from NC State. So clearly they weren't expecting him to still be there for their third-round pick. And so now they've added 2 wide receivers. And Goody was very honest, right? I mean, it was the lead quote in my story on Channel 3000. I didn't think I'd be up here talking about 2 wide receivers. Yeah. And I wanted to blurt out, yeah, neither did we. We didn't think you'd be talking about 1, much less 2. And so, for them to get Sorrell where they did, again, I'm not. Let's not paint him as Myles Garrett here, right? I mean, he's a great story, and maybe he turns out to be a really, really good football player. We don't know that yet, but what we do know is that we knew that they needed to augment their pass rush. Goody has said on multiple occasions that he believes that they can get it done with the guys they've already got on the roster. But that doesn't mean that you don't need more. And so it was interesting that Sorrell said that Rashawn Gary is one of the guys he emulates. And again, I wasn't going to ruin the vibe with a snarky remark, but he needs to play better.
Yeah.
If now we're looking at him as a role model, I think Rashawn Gary needs to be more productive. And I don't need to tell Rashawn Gary that. He knows that. So whether it's Rashawn Gary or Lucas Van Ness or Kingsley Enagbare, who I would argue has been their best pass rusher in the last year or so, consistency-wise, or now Barron Sorrell. Like, whoever it ends up being, he told us that Jeff Hafley was talking with him when he came over to Lambeau. Jeff Hafley wants a front 4 that can get pressure on its own, that he doesn't have to send, fake pressures or blitzes. He wants to get after the quarterback like the Eagles do, and maybe this is a guy that helps them do that.
I thought Corey Sparks and we got a little miscommunication for you, Jason. I have one.
I feel like I've been. That's not on you guys. I've been very long-winded, so let me try and be more concise here.
No,
Go ahead, Walter.
You're fine. I want to ask actually about Anthony Belton from NC State at pick 54 because he played left tackle for the Wolfpack last year, but many around the league feel he could transition to guard. The Pack just paid Aaron Banks handsomely this offseason, tackled Zach Tom and Rasheed Walker on the last years of their deal, and Jordan Morgan is still trying to find his way into the mix. What do you believe is the plan for Anthony Belton on this roster?
Yeah, I don't think the plan is for him to play right away, which, I know some folks were up in arms a little bit with the, we don't need our first-round pick to play right away. Well, guess what? The first-round pick's going to play when you get Matthew Golden in the first round. Now, that said, maybe the second-round pick won't have to play. Look, they have 3 guys, as the 3 of us have talked about on the damn sports show. They have 3 guys that are all in the last year of their deal on their offensive line. I think they have basically created a situation where, for those of us that are willing to speak honestly, and Goody can't say this kind of thing, but I can, clearly they're going to re-sign Zach Tom, and they're going to let Sean Ryan and Rasheed Walker walk. That has to be their plan, because you don't make these types of capital investments with a first-round pick, a big-ticket free agent, and now a second-round pick this year in the offensive line. Those are not T.J. Lang, Josh Sitton, David Bakhtiari, Corey Lindsley, day 3 picks that you hope you hit on. Those are guys that you've invested premium draft real estate in, and so your expectation is for those guys to be starters, right? I mean, if we put it in the perspective of Belton, they drafted Josh Myers in the second round in 2021. If it had not been for injury, he would have been a 4-year starter here. And then they used him up and they let him walk, right? And I think that's their mentality. Again, Goody's not going to say that in so many words, but I think their mentality now in the offensive line is going to be like they did with John Runyon a year ago. All right, we're going to draft these guys. They're going to be our guys, and then we're going to start drafting for their replacements. And then they're going to move on, and these guys are going to move in. We're not going to keep paying, big contracts. It makes me wonder what Elton Jenkins' future is after this year.
Wow.
So because they don't, I don't think they really want to pay a third contract. They've had less than super luck with that. So I think that going to keep replenishing the offensive line, and Belton is part of that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another offensive lineman later today. But I don't think I think the plan, if we're being realistic here, I think the plan is from left to right. Whoever wins the competition at left tackle, I personally think it is still going to be Rasheed Walker. But Rasheed Walker at left tackle, Aaron Banks at left guard, Elton Jenkins at center, Sean Ryan, or maybe if Rasheed Walker wins the left tackle job, maybe then we see Jordan Morgan move to right guard and then Zach Tom at right tackle. If that's who their healthy five are, that's what it's going to look like. And if Belton doesn't have to play this year and he can spend this season developing, then they can have him ready to step into a role next year as a starter.
Jason, as always, we appreciate your time. We know you're running around, doing interviews, busy man. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to give us some insight here as the Packers made their round 4 selection.
And icon.
You guys realize, like, this is my job, right? Like, they do pay me to do this.
Well, I was just saying, we're thrilled to talk to you.
Like, I didn't pull you guys out of like a burning vehicle on Oneida Street. All I did was talked on the phone.
It felt like that.
I appreciate you guys because you always make me feel like it's a bigger deal than it is. So I will. I'll talk to you next week on the Damn Sports Show, boys.
Hey, can't wait for it, Jason. Thank you.
That is the 3-time
All right,
Wisconsin.
guys, take care. Be good.
Oh, as I cut him off. Thank you, Jason. I always gotta get the sign-off down. He's only done that for like 7 months. But that is the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde. You can hear him live on Wilde and Tausch weekdays from 9 a.m. until noon across ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. I really like the insight there with Belton and that he doesn't, considering the offensive line scenario and how much they've built the depth the last handful of months here and shuffled some different pieces around. Not a ton of pressure for him to start right away, and there's a pretty decent chance that he sits back and learns and doesn't really hit the field in a starting capacity until year 2 or 3.
Loaded offensive line coming in Green Bay. I'm very, very excited for 2025.
We put a bow on this broadcast on the other end of the break. This is ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week presented by American Family Insurance.
More coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance. Immediate live show streaming, a homepage customized just for you, the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. Your state, your teams, your ESPN.
It isn't fair to just say they need to put pieces around Jordan Love in order to get to the Super Bowl, but it will also help if Jordan Love plays up to his potential.
The ESPN Wisconsin app, everything in the palm of your hand.
We're just going back to just, it's fine just doing it the Goody way and growing young and growing together.
Available in the Apple and Android App Store. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app today.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 2-liter bottle selected varieties Super Chill Soda, 2 for $3. 4-count double roll selected varieties Bounty Towels, $7.99. 6-pack 0.5-liter bottle selected varieties Splash Blast Water, 2 for $6. 40 to 48-ounce selected varieties Starbucks Iced Coffee, $5.49.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers. Safe.
Okay. Ooh, pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
Introducing the newest carbless flavor, Mango Vodka. Flavored with the essence of the ripest, freshest mangoes, carbless mango vodka will transport your taste buds to a sunny beach getaway. New flavor, still the same carbless crafted cocktails with 0 carbs, 0 sugars, and only 100 calories. Enjoy a refreshing vodka cocktail without the guilt. 4 packs of the new carbless mango vodka cocktail are available in stores near you. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com and escape with every sip.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Bev Anderson has a big idea she wants to share.
Bev has been here for 24 years.
Hi, Bev. We're anxious to hear your idea.
Kessler's is 45 years old this year. Monica, remember when your dad used to say in every radio ad, "I'm Richard Kessler, and I want to be your jeweler"?
I never got to hear that.
Yeah, and then Rick would say,
Kessler's Diamonds, inconveniently located on Appleton Avenue, Menominee Falls.
Inconveniently?
Richard said it was inconvenient for people to have to drive all the way to Menominee Falls, so he might as well admit it.
Bev, tell us your idea.
Richard said something else in almost every ad, and I think we should start saying it again because it's really important.
Tell us.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
I love that.
Fantastic idea, Bev.
Kessler's Diamonds.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
A Brewers group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Whether it's a birthday party, anniversary, or bachelor party, baseball is better with the group. Grab your crew of just 15 or more for an event you won't forget. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite location at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
Don't miss a second of ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, presented by American Family Insurance. Download the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app today and stay on top of it all.
If this is not your first time listening to the Damn Sports Show, you understand what's about to happen is a tradition. This last segment's going to be all of about 2 minutes, if that.
You got to save it. Well, I want Jason Wilde to have every second he wants
100%.
on the show. If he wants me to just get out of the chair and sit here next to you instead, God bless him. It's all his.
Well, it's been a blast. Thank you to everybody here at Good Karma Brands, ESPN Wisconsin, our on-site producer here, doing all the magic you see on the ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison, and Daily Dodge TV YouTube streams. That is the one and only Hunter Vaughn. Will Summers back at the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Studios. Corey Sparks, Wally Lukashinsky here with you. I'm going to go run a 40-yard dash.
We are about to. I got to give one last thank you out there. The thank you not only to the listeners, but thank you to the city of Green Bay. What an exceptional job this week.
Oh, my goodness.
This is why we love
better.
sports. This is special stuff. I'm happy that they seem to be as happy as we are.
And the Packers are already on the clock for round 5. Tune in to all of the ESPN Wisconsin social media pages. Of course, the wonderful ESPN Wisconsin app. For a recap of the full draft as it's wrapping up today. We hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend and Draft Saturday. This has been ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week presented by American Family Insurance.